So this watercolor tin, my mom got it for me at a thrift store, and it's really cute. It's vintage. I tried Googling the words that were inside of the tin, and I couldn't find anything except like places to buy it. I couldn't find like a Wikipedia about the company, so I have no idea about the company that made this tin or watercolor set. What I can gather from my very skilled detective work is that it's a children's tin watercolor set, and that it isn't a professional set. I don't know anything about like light fast rating or anything like that, but I did play around with them before, and they are pretty good. The sketch that I used was actually done before I even thought about making this video, and I did it in my watercolor sketchbook because I have one and I want to get better at doing my watercolor stuff. And I thought, oh, this is a good way to dip my feet and get them wet. I have not used my watercolors in a hot minute, and it was one of the mediums that I first started with, and I was just like, you know what, I should start using them more, so that's what I'm trying to do. I really love watercolors because they're just so free-flowing, and you could create beautiful artwork with them. It's just an altogether very nice process of making art when you choose to use watercolors, and that's what I want this video topic to be about, is the process of art and how in art making some stages don't always look beautiful, and that could be applied with the journey of art and learning how to become a skilled artist. It takes patience, it really does, because you're not going to be wanting to work on something if you're not seeing results. And you need to understand that sometimes seeing results is seeing what can be done and the potential that something has. Because especially with paintings, you do a lot of layering. And you need to understand that this isn't finished. There's still a lot of things I need to work on. And that's perfectly fine because you'll get there eventually. If you were to give up and not finish the piece, it's going to stay ugly forever. But if you keep working on it, even if it takes hours or days, you're going to get there. There's going to be some steps that it's going to look ugly and you're just going to not like doing them in the moment, but after some self-reflecting and seeing the finished product, you're going to understand that if I didn't do this, then the foundation of this painting would not have been set, and that it is just going to look, it would not look as nice as it does right now. Especially when it comes to paintings and other sort of mediums like color pencil that require layers, because when you put down one layer of a painting, that's usually not what you're gonna be finished with. You're gonna have multiple 2-4 layers applied after that, and you just need to have patience. Art is a lot about patience. You need to just wait sometimes. Wait for the paint to dry so you could add layers, so you could glaze. And it can be daunting, but if you just take the time to sit there and wait for the product to actually do what it needs to do, and Rome wasn't built in a day. Your comic isn't gonna be finished in a month. You're not gonna earn your art degree in overnight. You just need to be patient and work towards your goals. Work towards finishing any paintings or drawings that you want to go, because anything that is worth it is more than likely gonna require both time and effort, and you need to be willing to put both of those in, so that you can create something you're proud of, something you want to show everybody, that you can necessarily brag about if you would so choose to. Think why when people get their doctorates that people are so impressed. If you ever met anybody that has a doctorate degree or like a master's degree, that is a lot of time put into yourself into growing and becoming, and it's a lot of effort. So it is something to be happy to achieve. And yeah, not necessarily anybody can do it, or are they willing to do it is a better term to use, because I feel like everybody can achieve stuff, but it's about whether or not they're willing to make the sacrifices and wait and put all that effort into, because it does depend. There's varying reasons why some people don't graduate and can't do finished projects, but it's a lot of effort, and it is admirable if you are able to go through all the efforts and hardships and sacrifices to get it done, should I say, to finish. Because you see plenty of people try, but they just can't finish, and it's really hard getting to that finish line. There's a saying that goes, I know it's a quote by an artist, but I can't remember who. I want to say Picasso, but I feel like I'm wrong. But it's, artists never truly finish a painting, they just abandon it. And I feel like there is some truth to that, because you could always continue working on something and always continue to try and fix it and make it better. And it's hard to understand the point of refining and correcting and making it better, as opposed to just overworking a piece. Also with that, I feel like some people don't understand that you don't necessarily have to go and do something as drastic as getting like a doctorate degree. Because I know this girl from high school, she's one of my friends, we're not that close, but she is going to get her master's degree. And she was very worried about it, because she's like, well, I still have a degree. I could, if I choose to, do something with that. But do I want to? Do I want to keep going, or do I want to build it up more? And it's hard to stop sometimes, because you don't know, what do I need? What do I want? I feel like is what people need to focus on, is what do I want from this piece? What do I want from my art? Do I want to just make this a hobby? Do I want to live on my art? Do I want a degree in art? It's a daunting thing to think about, but I feel like people need to critically think about themselves and their goals to help better themselves and understand this whole process of art, because you could go a long way with your art, or you could just keep it at that, and there's no shame in either of them. There's no shame in just being a hobbyist artist. That's fun. Okay, went off of a bit of a rant there, but still, no matter what you choose to do with your art, there's gonna be steps in the process that aren't necessarily gonna look that great. You just have to grin and bear it. No, not necessarily grin, but just grit your teeth and bear it, should I say. You don't have to like it, but as long as you're doing it, that's what really counts. Because if you're not, say, thumbnailing any of your paintings, and I hate thumbnailing so much, like, you don't even understand, but I still do it because I want my paintings to look nice and to look presentable, and I don't want them to look like I'm just pooping stuff out, you know? Like with this painting, when I did the underline layers with just the watercolors, it looked kind of like doo-doo, in my honest opinion. So when I added the watercolor pencils and to define it more, it looked nice. But if I just went in with the watercolor pencils, it wouldn't have looked how I wanted it to look. It would have looked totally different. There wouldn't be that definition. There wouldn't be that, it's not the best, but there wouldn't be as much depth into the painting as I wanted it to be. When you just add a few layers, it will never look as it would if you added more. More layers add more into the painting, which is obvious, but I just feel like sometimes people have to hear this being said, because like, you don't want to do it sometimes, and you just need to understand that there's gonna be steps into your process that's gonna look weird, and you just have to understand that this is what's necessary in order for it to be finished, for it to be the way I want it to be refined. There we go, that's the word I've been looking for all this video, refined. Like, this painting isn't like the best painting I've ever done, but it's still something, you know? You could tell that there was thought put into it, and that there was, how do you say, effort put into it. It's like super hot, which I apologize if you hear like buzzing, that's my fans. So like, I can't think, it's like 100 degrees and I'm over here trying to talk. I don't want to talk, I want to take a nap, but I can't nap because it's too hot. But anyways, that's just my little tidbit of things. And that's it, we're at the end of this video. Thank you for sticking around this long, listening to me just go off in my heat-induced brain stew. Well, I do appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this video. I do have a Patreon if you want to have early access to my videos. My tier starting at just $1 a month. I also have other social media platforms, which of course are free. So you can follow me at Instagram at Cassie.Frass, Facebook at CassieFrassArt, Twitter at CassieFrassies. I'll see you later, Gators.